The Day for Daniel walk headed off with a police escort and a firm commitment from the Premier.
We will continue to put child safety front and centre.
Just hours later, the priorities of her predecessor were being questioned in a report by the Organised Crime Commission.
Resources were being focused on our MCGs.
That obsession with bikies, who account for 0.5% of all offences, led to neglect of other crimes, especially child exploitation.
To think that there is a movement happening in Queensland that is exploiting children is simply not acceptable.
The great work that Task Force Argos does is simply swamped by their lack of resources.
While the Bikie Task Force has about 200 detectives, the Child Exploitation Unit has less than 10. The Premier is seeking an urgent meeting with the Police Commissioner to discuss reallocating resources as soon as possible.
It's disgusting. I'm going to focus on that immediately.
We need to be ahead of the predators, not following their footsteps. So all resources need to be channelled into that area.
The former administration says Queensland's bikie crackdown was needed.
Allocation of resources was and is a matter for the police service.
The 600-page report also points to other areas lost in the war on bikies, like fraud.
Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of complaints that haven't been able to be looked at because of the lack of resourcing.
A Queensland criminologist says better resourcing is needed across all policing and the CCC.
At the moment it looks almost entirely at bikies because if it broke up its resources it would be doing 5 things badly as opposed to one thing well.
Max Futcher, 7 News.
State political reporter Patrick Condren joins us now live from State Parliament. Pat, what are the repercussions from today's report for the major parties?
Bill, good evening. When the Commissioner highlights that paedophiles flourished because the focus was on outlaw motorcycle gangs, that's certainly not a good look for the previous Newman administration, particularly when you consider that Campbell Newman and his ministers spent plenty of time spruiking their tough on bikies policy. Now, the challenge for Labor and the Palaszczuk government is to go against their natural instinct, I suppose, to play politics with this and get on with the job of sorting out the child exploitation issue that the Commissioner highlighted today. Now, his findings will go to the Vlad Task Force, which is reviewing the anti-bikie laws. That report is due in March next year.
All right, thank you, Pat. And later, big support for the Morecambes on the 11th annual Day for Daniel.